All right, welcome to the Erie Music History Podcast. I am Chip Shell, your host. And today, my guest is not from Erie originally. You're from Pittsburgh, I think, right? And has lived in Meadville for 40-some years. But he played quite a bit back in the 1970s and 1980s with his band McMillin and Life, which, for those of you who are old enough to remember, is a spoof of the name, the old TV series McMillan and Wife. So, Dave McMillan, thanks. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Chip. Thanks a lot for having me.
Dave, we're going to get into it. You and I were just chatting a little bit about, McMillan and Life. You played for so long, but give people an indication of how often you were playing in your heyday. Was it 7 days? What was it?
When we first got started in 1975, we were all music majors at Edinburgh State College.
Okay, yeah.
We were all students there and basically all went to the 4 years of school there. And in 75, our band formed. And we started playing. Our first night ever was a Sunday night, like a demo night at the Holiday Inn at 18th and State. Bob Newmeyer was the manager then.
Okay.
And he gave us a chance to go in there, and I guess we did a bang-up job because about a week later we were playing 6 nights a week there.
Jeez.
In fact, we even did a happy hour on Wednesdays and Fridays from 7 to 8 or 6 to 8, and then we come back again and play from 9 to 1.
Oh, my God.
6 nights a week.
All right. Well, we're going to get into that and how all that happened and the changes over the years. But you and I also talked about you, like many guys your age, 70s, you were influenced by that 1964 airing of the Beatles, and that prompted you to say, I want a guitar?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Had you been a musician prior to that? I mean,
no. My father was a great piano player, and I always heard a lot of music around the house. But until the Beatles, I just hadn't gotten the bug yet. But once I did, it was like, please, Mom and Dad, please get me a guitar. And after some fighting with them, I finally got my first guitar, and that was it. I started playing, and I ended up in the school band. I went to Keystone Oaks High School. I played the drums in the marching band and the orchestra and stuff.
And that's in somewhere in Pittsburgh?
Keystone Oaks, yeah. It's Green Tree, Dormont, and Castle Shannon were the three towns that became Keystone Oaks. And then I graduated from high school in 71, and my parents said, what do you want to do now? I said, well, I want to go to college. And they said, for what? I said, music.
Oh, so you were really a music major.
Yes.
I mean, you really were into it.
So I came up to Edinburgh in 81, and I auditioned for Dr. Leroy Williams. He's still around, I hope, down there somewhere. And fortunately, I brought some charts I wrote for the high school stage band, and he really dug that because he directed the stage band at Edinburgh. And between that and he said, well, we don't have guitar as a major here.
I was going to say, did they have guitars?
No, you had to come to Erie if you wanted to play guitar, and I didn't have a car or whatever, but he said, can you do anything else? I said, I think I can sing. So the next thing you know, I became a voice minor, and a music education teacher was my major.
Gotcha.
Voice is my minor.
Well, in high school, though, did your band have a guitar?
Yeah, okay. I had a band in high school.
Oh, I mean like the school band.
No, we didn't. Well, I can't remember.
What were you playing in the school band?
Drums.
Oh,
drums. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I played drums, and the reason is my family was poor, and they used to have a band rental program. We could rent a trumpet or whatever. And then they said, I said, well, what else can you do? And said, well, you can do drumsticks for $2 a pair. I said, count me in. So we used to play on chairs. We'd sit on one and play on the other with these $2 drumsticks, and.
So you were playing guitar at home?
Yes,
and
yes.
Learning on your own or take lessons?
I did take lessons for a couple of years,
All
yeah.
Right. And any other siblings that?
My sister played piano for a while too, and then she decided that wasn't her thing.
That wasn't her. So,
but exposure to my dad's playing was really what helped me.
Sure,
he
sure.
played a lot all the time, and that really helped me a lot. So.
And was Edinburgh? I apologize to all you Edinburgh Scots out there. It's where my son graduated from. Yeah. Was it known for a good music program? I mean, was that a place to go for?
I don't really know. I know it was fairly easy to get into, and that was why I went there, because I didn't have a lot of theory background or whatever, and I just wanted to get into any school. In fact, it was the only school I auditioned for, and I got in, and that was it. So,
all right.
But it was a fun place to go, and like I say, all my buddies, my roommate, Tom Nagel. Tom, you're out there, buddy.
Yeah.
He we started playing music almost the day we hit school. I mean, it was just instant. He played bass, I played guitar.
Okay.
And we were doing our Jose Feliciano medleys.
That's right. You were saying, yeah. Were you in bands prior to this, like high school band or anything like that?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah?
Nothing serious. I mean, we weren't playing gigs for money and stuff. But we do
Right.
like
Parties.
school assemblies and stuff like that. Yeah.
What type of stuff were you playing?
Well, we was already doing the Jose acoustic thing with bongos and stuff like that, and I think we did have a little horn band at one point too, but I don't remember playing any real shows.
Okay.
So it was just kind of like a jam thing.
Don't remember any names.
Oh yeah, yes I do. Teddy Bernetti, she's his drummer to this day. They call her the Queen of Pittsburgh.
Wow.
She was a drummer then and still is today.
Okay.
So she's down there somewhere. Teddy, if you're out there, God bless you, girl.
And what were the names of the bands? Do you remember?
We had a band called the Music Staff. We spelled
All right.
it S-T-A-P-H. Like,
All right.
Like a disease.
Like a disease. Sure. Yeah. Probably didn't even know that.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't care. But I'll never forget the first time we had a gig at a fire hall. It was like out in the parking lot, like for we had matching shirts and everything. We thought we were really cool, but we didn't have a PA. And the guy said, "Where's your PA?" I said, "We don't have one." He goes, "You got to have a PA." I called my dad up. He went to Radio Shack and bought us two 12-inch speakers. They weren't even in a cabinet. They were just raw speakers and some wire. And somehow or another, we rigged a PA system out of these speakers. It was like, oh, my God. It had to be horrible, but, hey, we were game to try anything. So.
I've heard of guys talking about back then you didn't have a PA. You played out of your amp or, stuff like that. But I never heard just a raw speaker like that. So
it had to be unreal. I can't imagine what it sounded like.
So you're at Edinburgh for 4 years?
Yes. Actually 4.5, because halfway through my junior year, we had a band. There was 5 of us. We were called Spectrum. And it's still, some of the guys, or all the guys except one, is still in this band that you're going to hear later on this year.
Yeah.
And we dropped out of school. Well, we dropped down to 1 credit. We just had 1 class a week. And we went on a Holiday Inn tour. We played the Holiday Inn.
As Spectrum?
Yes.
Oh.
Meadville. We played the Holiday Inn Clarion, which is where I met my wife. Hi, honey.
Yeah.
And then we went to Butler and all these little Holiday Inn circuits. We did that for like an entire semester for the money and for the experience. Then I had to come back and finish that summer at Edinburgh. So I graduated August of 75.
How many guys were in Spectrum? Or was
5.
it all
5
guys?
of us. Yeah, all guys, yeah.
Who were they? What did they play? What type of
John
instruments?
Carroll was our keyboard player.
I know
He's
John.
still with McMillan and Wife to this day.
John plays in the Fabulous Leftovers.
That's right. Hey, John.
Yeah.
And Tom Nagel, who was my roommate at college, he's still in McMillan and Life. He lives in Florida now, but he comes up for a practice.
Oh, okay.
He'll be up for the show. Ernie Pontier, who is the guy that was with the Letterman, he's coming back to sing with us. He lives in Pittsburgh now. And let's see, Wayne Pierce was our drummer. He moved on to Connecticut. He lives up that way, I believe. It's somewhere in Connecticut. He teaches at a private school up there. And he actually switched from drums to flute, so he's still doing a great job.
Okay.
And then, let's see, there was me, John, Wayne, Ernie. I think that's all 5
it.
of us,
All right.
yeah.
And we should point out, like you and I have had a conversation before this, and we've talked a little bit. You're going to be coming back in November. McMillan and Life is going to play for the first time in Erie at the Paul Yocklin Memorial Scholarship second annual, hopefully, event. And now this podcast may not come out until around then. So, but if it comes out before then, that is November 18th at Rainbow Gardens.
Right.
It'll probably be sold out by the time this comes out because it's really packed already. But I plan to be there and see you. So. So if you hear us reference, you know, they're going to be getting back together. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
so.
and this will be our first show in 47 years
Oh,
together.
shit. Oh, wow. Okay. And is the guy in Florida, is he the doctor or is he?
No, he's our bass player.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we have any.
You don't have a doctor? No, I'm thinking.
We're probably going to need a doctor after the show.
Because you guys have been getting together. Right now, it's September, early September. You've been getting together.
We practiced for 2 days in May in Meadville at my house. Everybody came in. And then we practiced for 2 days in August. Everybody came in. So we've had 4 rehearsals so far.
Okay, all right.
So we've got a couple more scheduled. So
all right, so let's go back. 75, you are still in school. And
everybody was done by August of 75. We all graduated.
And you're married at this point, right?
Yes.
March of 75, you get married.
I was married.
Yeah.
Right.
So young. Yeah. But you guys are committed to Spectrum at this point?
Spectrum, and the other band was Saginaw, which was another band that was pretty popular in Erie at that time. That was Bob Sadowski on keyboards, Randy Peck on bass, Jeff Saget on guitar, John Skendel on drums, and then Roy Hellman, Dale Skelly.
Okay.
Their band happened to split up at the same time Spectrum did, and those two bands formed together to become McMillan and Life.
Was there any, like, at the time, like I said, McMillan and Wife was on TV at 71. Right. Was it like, hey, let's do this as a joke? It was 7 personalities. It was tough to come up with a name that everybody wanted. And I think the way we finally decided to do it was, we had a 4-piece rhythm section, we had 2 horns, and I basically sang and jumped around like I still do. And I didn't have I played some instruments on the side when we needed, but mainly I was like the lead singer, and I guess we decided between that and the fact that there was a McMillan and Wife TV show, we thought it might be cute to go with McMillan and Life, and somehow or another I managed to get the guys to agree to that. Yeah. And there it's been ever since. 7 guys? 7. And so what all we have? We have
Roy Helm on trumpet.
Okay.
Dale Skelly was our trombone player. Now, rest in peace. Dale passed away in 2008, and we are definitely going to be dedicating a song to him at our show on the 18th at Rainbow Gardens. John Carroll, keyboard players with us and still with the other bands you mentioned earlier. Steve Kuhn is our guitar player, and he also plays alto sax. Steve, how you doing, buddy?
And so there's lots of Kuhns. Is it K-U-H?
K-U-H-N Kuhn, yes.
He's the third K-U-H-N that I know. All right. That's a musician.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And let's see, Tom Nagel, the bass player from Florida. Okay. And then me. I think that's everybody.
Are you just playing? You're playing guitar, or
most of the time I was just singing. And like I say, emceeing and jumping around. Occasionally, if we did instrumentals, I would switch the guitar so like Steve could play sax, things like that. We did a lot of things. We were kind of a show band.
Yeah, that's what I was going to describe you as.
We had all matching outfits, and back in the time, I mean, we had dance routines. We should have probably been in Vegas. I mean, that's really where our whole shtick was. But
that was of the time.
Yes.
I mean, that was very common, the bands that I see you playing opposite of were Wave and the Younger Brothers and even the Doris Brothers band, at the time, where everybody wore those outfits. I always ask people this, like, where did you get the outfits? Did someone design them for you? What's the deal?
I don't know.
They must have stunk after 7 days a week.
Mary Reba, if you're still out there, God bless you. Well, she was a lady fan who just came up to us one day and said, "Hey, I really like your band. I'm a seamstress," and she made us. We had about 8 outfits that she made for us. All beautiful. They were all handmade with, she had some kind of a thing.
Sequins on them?
Yeah, put sequins and stuff on them. You saw the bell bottoms.
Yeah, right.
All those pictures that. But she did a great job. She made us look incredible at the time. We were really lucky to find someone that would do that for us. And like I say, it was just one of many whirlwind things that happened to us. I brought my phone Fly with me.
All right, that's very nice. Yeah,
he follows me everywhere I go.
Well, so looking at some of the past newspapers and stuff. I mean, obviously McMillan and Life's in there a lot, and it's in there a lot. Like you said, 75. We're talking. So the Holiday Inn. You mentioned the Holiday Inn circuit. So we had 2 Holiday Inns at the time. One downtown, 18th Street. And then Holiday Inn South was 97 and 90, right?
Right. I got a good story about that one.
Oh, I'm sure you do, because for God's sake, all I kept seeing was McMillan and Life at Holiday Inn, September through December of 75, January through February of 76. You take a little trip down to Meadville, play at one of my old favorite restaurants, Sandalini's, for a while. Yeah. And you continue those back and forth. Yeah. What's interesting is then you have this really long stint at 123 West 9th Street, which a lot of people in Erie know. It's in the little Plaza 8, I think, is that what it's called? Plaza 8 or Plaza 9 on West 9th Street. It was the talk of the town, was the restaurant. Yep. Then it became, a few months later, it became previously it was Lord Bethwick's downtown. Okay. We had a Lord Bethwick's in the Liberty Plaza, I think, too. But then it becomes the Banks Money. And that was for a while. And so you start playing there, and you're not at the Holiday Inn as regularly. So tell me about that period, because...
To the best of my memory,
it's a long time. Yeah.
When we got cooking at the Holiday Inn in downtown in September of 75, we played up until the following May 23rd, 1976.
Okay.
We were at the Holiday Inn South. That Sunday, May 23rd, was the Lou Bizarro Jr. Roberto Duran fight.
At the Erie County Fieldhouse.
And we were playing that Saturday night at the Holiday Inn South.
Okay, so which was right by the Fieldhouse.
And there were a bunch of people from New York City that came in that night before the fight, to get a room and to get a meal and stuff like that. And there were a couple promoters who came out and they heard our band playing and they liked us.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And the next thing I know, we get a call from them. It was several months before they signed us, but we actually got signed with an agency out of New York City, and the following January of 77, they took us to New York City for 3 months to Plaza Sound Recording Studio, 7th floor of Radio City Music Hall.
Wow.
And we recorded an 11-song demo tape. They tried to sell it to
shop it around.
Yeah, and it didn't work out. But in the meantime, we got to play in and around New York City, for a couple of months, and then we went back on the road. But that was Gino Vanelli was in the studio at the same time we were.
Oh, wow.
So we got to see him like, hi, Gino.
And you guys wrote all your own stuff?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And what made it even better, we had our manager, Vinnie Marchese, but he also had a team. His producer was George David Weiss, who's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
God rest his soul, too. He wrote the song, the Elvis song, Wise Men Say Only Fools.
Oh, really?
Can't Help Falling in Love. He wrote The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Oh.
He wrote Lullaby of Birdland. So George David Weiss, that's why he's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. He was the real deal. He helped us rewrite a lot of the lyrics to our songs that we recorded.
Did you have those original songs when you guys were performing out?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't realize that.
And they helped us. They helped us rearrange it and tighten them up and things like that. And, back then there was a 16-channel, 2-inch wide tape. We thought, wow.
This is
because
crazy.
we had cassette players at home, so that was like a big deal for us. So that was our claim to fame, was to get to go to New York City.
And 3 months you're in New York City.
Yeah, 3 months.
So you're living there?
Yeah. We're staying in a hotel called the Abbey Victoria.
Okay.
And it was tight. I mean, we were literally living 4 guys to a room.
Oh, wow.
2 double beds, And some of us even had our wives with us, too, so, girlfriends. So, yeah, it was tough going. But we survived it, and we went back out on the road. And,
So let's go talk about the road, first of all. So we've only talked about you playing at the Holiday Inn, a few places in Sandalini's and stuff. But in between those, I take it, because you would do these long stints, like 6 days a week at the Holiday Inn. Right. Like I said, they locked you in for September through February. And was it just the Holiday Inn South or downtown or both?
Both.
Were they
Bob Newmeyer managed both of those hotels.
That's what I wondered.
He was our keystone to get into those places.
Okay, all right.
We also signed with a booking agency out of Buffalo, New York, called the Sansone Brothers.
Okay.
And they put us out on the road. And our claim to fame is we played every state east of the Mississippi, from Canada to Florida.
Holy shit.
We were everywhere.
I didn't know that.
A week here, a week, 2 weeks there. I mean, and it was 6 nights a week, almost every place we played. It was wild.
And so you were how old? 20?
I was 18 in 71. This all started in 75,
6?
Yeah, right, 76. So about 25 years old. Most of us were about the same age.
Were you the only married guy?
No, there were 2 of us that were married.
Wow.
A couple guys had girlfriends too that were with them as well. So
how was that? I mean, your wife didn't travel with you all the time, obviously.
Not all the time, but when we did travel, it was pretty tough. But we were young and single, and we got to play, Ocala, Florida. We got to play Gainesville, Florida, and we were always at Disney World, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so that was always fun on our days off. We'd go. So it was a wild, wild time. But
did you have roadies and?
No, there were 7 guys in the band, and then we picked up one of our 8th member, Steve Stone, who to this day, he was a DJ at a club we played in Baltimore, Maryland, and we just got to be friends. He played music on our breaks and stuff, and we got to be friends, and next thing you know, he said, hey, Steve, we're looking for a sound man, light man.
Yeah,
I'll be with you. So he jumped in, and next thing you know, we took him on the road with us for the rest of our career, and to this day, he's going to be back with us November 18th.
Helping out.
Yeah, him and I are going to do a Blues Brothers medley. Wow. So he sings.
Well, where would you get the PA? Would you rent it?
We had our own. No, we had our own stuff.
Oh, but no roadies. Everybody just carried their own stuff.
Yeah, we had a B3 organ.
Oh, my God.
And keyboards. We had 4 keyboards. We had a full-size PA. Speaking of equipment, just another quick story that came to my mind.
Yeah.
We played a gig in Schenectady, New York, with all the old stuff that we brought with us. And we played there like 2 nights, and we could tell things weren't going well. So most of these places gave us some kind of either like a hotel or a comp room somewhere, a trailer to live in. So the next day, our guys were out there, and some guy says, "Hey, are you guys in the band that played at this club?" And he said, "Yeah." He goes, "It burned down last night." The club burned to the ground with all our stuff in it. We even have pictures of it. The only smart thing we did was we had taken out an insurance policy, like 3 minutes. We only made 3 payments on this insurance policy. It was a $30,000 insurance policy, and we went back to the club. Everything we owned was gone. Everything burned.
God.
The drums, all there was just like the metal rims. All the shells were completely
Did you
gone.
have your guitars or basses?
Well, some of the guys took their stuff back to the hotel,
right.
but like a couple of the trombones and stuff were like melted into just like a massive metal. So, of course, we were totally bummed out until we found out our insurance policy was good. We went back to Buffalo, Kubaris Music Store. We walked in there and we said to the owner, "Close the door. We want to do some business." And the guy thought we were nuts.
Yeah.
We showed him this check for $30,000. He says, "Okay, guys, whatever you want." And we literally bought everything from guitar picks to B3s, trumpets, trombone. We bought an entire band's worth of equipment in one day.
Wow.
Talk about luck.
Yeah, talk about luck. And you had your own, vans, or what were you transporting all that in?
We had a 24-foot box truck.
Oh, you did?
Dual axle, yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Wow.
So we had a big truck, and like I say, we were lucky because, of the 7 personalities, like some guys were like me, entertainers and kind of silly. Other guys like John Carroll were very, very great arrangers and writers and stuff.
Right.
And then 2 of the guys, Dale Skelly and Tom Nagel, were great business people.
Oh.
They always looked ahead for stuff like the insurance.
Yeah.
They looked ahead for the truck and the vehicle and the bookings and stuff like that. And I remember we played a club in Florida that after the guy paid us that night, he goes, "Do you need some guards to walk you out to your car?" And we're like, "We're 7 guys, We're like,
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, the last band that was in here got robbed." And we're like, "Okay,
We'll take that. Yeah.
we'll take the card." So
And were those places, was it like a Holiday Inn circuit, or were they, when you say clubs?
Mostly clubs, yeah.
Yeah.
They were standalone places. I mean, I don't know if most of them are probably not even in business
Yeah, I mean,
anymore.
you sent me some pictures of places that
right.
I couldn't even find, the Chicago bar in Union, New Jersey, like Maganette.
La Maganette, yeah, that was in New York City.
That was New York City. Finnegan's Rainbow.
Right.
I don't even know where it was. Sally's in New York, Treadway Inn, Owego, New York. I mean, you were all over the place.
We were, but I'm saying, like I say, that was so long ago. I guarantee 99% of those places
Oh, yeah,
are gone.
absolutely. Yeah.
But,
what was it, a 10 to 2 gig, or what were they?
They all varied. Most of them were always 4 hours, but some of them were 9 to 1, some of them were 9:30 to 1:30, some were 10 to 2.
Okay.
But it was all over the place. La Maganette was in downtown New York City.
Yeah.
And again, that's when we were recording our records or our originals. And one of the things that was funny is we were really hungry because we weren't playing that much. So our manager, Vinny, he was able to get together with the owner of La Maganette, and he said, "Look, you guys will do a show every night and we'll feed you." So we would march into the kitchen, in the back of the kitchen. This was a fine Italian restaurant, great food. And they would feed us. We'd sit down like a big meal, all like the whole band. I think we even had our wives and stuff with us too. And then after that, we'd go out and play, and that was our gig for the night.
That's how you paid for the food.
But
wow,
we didn't care. We were just having so much fun.
Sure,
and just doing it.
And was the plan all along to make a record? And
yes,
and
right. We had aspirations like all young guys at that time. We thought we could make it. We thought we had all this talent because we were all music majors. Everybody could play multiple instruments, and we thought we had it. We could dance, we could sing, we had outfits and lights and PA, and we just had so much energy. And like you say, I think we missed our calling by not going west to like Vegas or something. I think we could have been more like that. We did a Beach Boys medley. We did a Star Wars medley. We did an Osmonds medley. We did Motown. We had all these different show things that we did. And
when Tony Farrar from The Groove was on the podcast, I think that may have been the first time that I had heard about your band.
Oh, yeah.
And he told me about the Star Wars gig. And so the key thing to keep in mind is Star Wars came out in 1977, and you guys were doing, tell people about this, because he told me about it. I mean, it had to involve a lot of planning.
Well, the Miko, I don't know who Miko is, but he was like a disco arranger. Right. He did his own disco arrangement of Star Wars. So as soon as we heard that,
he played at the Fieldhouse.
Right. John Carroll. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
John Carroll immediately, with his talent, he scored that for us, and and we had like I say, I think I played guitar on that, and we had like 4 horns. I think Steve the sax guitar player played sax, and Roy and Dale, the trumpet trombone. I'm not sure. Some of the other guys could play trombone and trumpet too, but we had a whole bunch of guys. Well, we built our own flash pods.
Yeah.
And then we took these giant flashlights and put like golf tubes on the end to make lightsabers.
Oh, that's what you did. Okay.
And we went and got the Darth Vader mask and cape, and I mean, it was probably hokey, but
there was like a fight between Darth Vader and what?
Yeah,
Luke
the audience
someone.
or whatever. And I would dress up as Darth Vader and go out there and slash and burn, and we'd have flash pods going off all the while we were playing the.
Yeah.
And it was just hilarious, and people. I still Rick Dvorak, Mike.
Yeah.
Michael can tell you when they were little kids, his dad used to bring them out to hear us play that all the time, and they just thought, they were little kids.
Yeah.
So they really thought that was awesome.
I mean, every night you were doing that.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay.
We did like 4 sets a night. We do a dance set, show set.
Oh.
Dance set, show set. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did like 2 shows and 2 dance sets.
And tell me some of the covers. Like what were some of the music back then? I mean,
okay, we were doing a lot of Michael Jackson, or I should say the Jackson 5.
Sure, right.
We were doing stuff like Three Dog Night.
Oh.
We were doing, we did a lot of ballads. Like our first set, we almost did like a big band thing because we had so many horns. Like I wouldn't even come out yet on stage. The guys would do like an instrumental version of like On a Clear Day or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Then they'd call me out and I'd come out and, I'd do something real mellow, like a dinner set kind of thing. I would do like, I don't know, like one of the male crooner type of things.
Sure,
I'd
sure,
come out.
yeah.
I used to do Ramblin' Rose. I'd pass out roses to the lady. Very schmaltzy, but people loved it. We spared no expense on the staging of everything like that. Then we get into the dancing stuff with like Tavares. Disco was big then.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So we were doing Tavares and Bee Gees and just everything.
Casey in the Sunshine Band.
Yeah, Casey. Barry Manilow, we had a couple
yeah.
songs like that. And we had a lot of guys that could sing. So like John Carroll would come out from behind the keyboards and he'd sing out front and I would play the drums. Or John Skendel, he would come out front and sing and Steve would play the drums. So yeah, everybody was like, that was the beauty of being music majors because we were exposed. You had to take a semester of like every instrument when you were an educator because when you got your degree, you were expected to go out and be able to go into a K through 12 school system and say, okay, little Johnny, here's how you play the trumpet. Susie, here's how you play the flute, the violin.
Right.
You had to learn at least something about every instrument. Yeah, of every instrument.
I didn't realize that. Wow.
And we took it to the next level. We actually said, yeah, I can play trumpet now.
Yeah.
Started playing in the band. We'd keep it simple, but we'd have fun doing all that. So.
All right, so you're traveling around. This is maybe why people don't remember McMillan and Life a lot in Erie because you were on the road all the time.
Exactly.
You go to New York City, you stay for 3 months, you record a full album.
Right, 11 tunes, right.
And does it ever get printed or anything? Nothing.
No.
Just
they went around and and I was never sure whether or not they really were marketing it that hard or whether it was part of a whole package just to get us to sign with him or whatever.
Oh,
they treated us really good, but in those days everybody was trying to make records and get signed, and it was really tough. Somebody told me once that they thought we were the best nobody ever heard of band that never got signed. You know what I mean? Because I thought we were pretty good too, and so did some other people. But we were in a world where we were following. They called us a national touring show band. And
which you were.
We were following other bands around doing the same thing. And so
did you ever open for any big folks or
no?
Yeah,
we never did.
All right.
So
you continue to do that through what?
We came back to Erie in the fall of 1978, and our final gig together was at the Spartan Inn out there in Sterretania, which is now, I think, the
Best Western.
Right.
Yeah, right.
We were playing out there, and we were doing our thing there, and that's when, like I say, Tom, our bass player, he was the first guy to get a day job. He was working for Penny's in the Mill Creek Mall. I was the second guy to get a day job. I was working at the organ store, Lowry Taylor Music.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, the other guys all fell into suit. Some of the guys reformed a band called Skylift, I think, was one of the bands.
Oh.
That's where Tony Ferraro got in with those guys. And they went back out on the road. John Skendel on drums, Tony on guitar, Steve Kuhn was on bass. Roy and Dale, the horn players, they were still playing with him too. So they went back on the road where the rest of us decided that was it. But I even had a couple smaller versions even after that. We had a McMillan and Life with George Barber, who also plays tenor sax now with Jack Stevenson and the Very Treasure Band.
Yeah, I know that.
He's going to be with us on this show on the 18th, too.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, first of all, I know that you did multiple New Year's Eve gigs at Rainbow Gardens.
Yes.
Was that something you organized on your own? Like you guys would rent the place out and you'd be the main act?
I'm pretty sure Dale and Tom were the two guys that put that all
coordinated
together.
that. Yeah, because that's a big room.
Oh, yeah, right.
But back then, that was a place to go.
Yeah, right.
On New Year's Eve.
Right.
And so you were at least back in Erie because you were living in Erie at the time.
Yes.
And so then I see, like in May of '77, it says the long-awaited return of McMillan and Life at the Holiday Inn downtown.
Right.
And so it was because you guys had been in New York City and traveling and stuff.
Right,
okay. Right. So Star Wars comes out. You're doing that gig. You're traveling. You do the Rainbow Gardens again. New Year's Eve '77. Now in '78, like you said, you kind of break up, right?
Right.
But I find this weird ad for the Holiday Inn downtown in 1978. Dave McMillan and the Jets. Do you have any idea what that means? What that is?
Yeah. Again, we had a couple of crazy bands. We had a band called Icarus for a while.
I was going to ask about Icarus, because I
Brian
found them
Valant was in Icarus. Brian, right?
for like 2-3 months. Icarus was playing at the emergency room, which again was that place at 123 West 9th Street, which went through so many names.
Right.
Was Icarus just a offshoot of McMillan and Life?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was a 6-piece band. We had 2 keyboard players. Jerry Rex was a vocalist and
you got a great memory. I mean, a lot of guys come in here with notes. You got nothing, man. You're just winging this. This is great.
Brian Valant was playing keyboard, so we had 2 keyboard players. I was playing guitar and singing. Bob Anderson was the bass player. And then we had Paul Sachet on drums, and we had a conga guy too, Kenny. I never knew Kenny's last name. Kenny, wherever
if
you
you're
are,
out
buddy,
there, tell us.
We remember you.
That's awesome.
So Icarus, and we were doing kind of like Toto and some, less horns and more keyboards and that kind of thing like that. So
we're at 78, I mean, well, actually, Icarus was playing in 80, May through June of 80.
Right.
Right,
and that's what ended that band is when I had to go to Meadville to get my telephone job. I had to finally say, sorry, Icarus, bye.
Yeah, so McMillan and Life kind of, the original 7 ends in 78.
Yes.
78.
Right.
And I see like you play some random gigs in 79. You play the Colonial Ball at the Our Lady of Christian School Gym.
Right.
You play the Stardust Ball at Rainbow Gardens, and that was billed as the new McMillan in Life.
Yeah, that would have been like me and George Barber, and we had Steve Clare on keyboards, and so that was a whole nother.
Okay.
Kind of tried to be the same thing, but a smaller version. Like I think we only had 5 guys.
5. I knew it was smaller. I saw the pictures. So you even played the Riverside Inn in Cambridge Springs.
Yeah.
You start playing Papa Nick's on West 12th Street in Erie.
Nick Panos.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Eventually becomes Lizzie Borden's.
Right.
And you played the Best Western for a number of months. In fact, in 79, you played half the year at the Best Western.
Nice. Right.
So it goes into 80. Then Icarus comes in. You're playing at the emergency room. You play some weird gigs in 87. The Mardi Gras Mystique Charity Ball in the Venango Country Club.
Yeah.
So down near your area. The Mistletoe Ball, again, Days Inn in Meadville in 88. So was it sporadic throughout the 80s that...
I was always in a band, always. Whether it was 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys.
Yeah.
And we kept that name McMillan and Life
That's
through a
what
lot
I
of
wondered.
them.
Okay.
Mainly just so people knew that I was still in it somehow.
Yeah.
It was the only reputation that we had to hang on. So actually there was a McMillan and Life 4-piece version of myself, Bob Naples, God rest his soul, on guitar. Gary Smith was the drummer, and then we had a couple of different guys on bass, Tim Stallard. That 4-piece version there, we went on to play in Meadville for years. We did a 42-weekend stint at Sandolini's in Meadville, 42 weekends straight.
Oh, my God.
Every Friday and Saturday for 42 weekends.
And you called yourself McMillan and Life?
McMillan and Life, yeah.
Wow.
Right. So,
and same type of music, or was it evolving?
well, it was only 4 guys, and we were doing, still the same kind of dance music and stuff like that. We started to feature a lot more vocals since we didn't have a horn section. And then later on, we actually started to add in, like, sequencing tracks and stuff like that. I was the first guy to discover that, and I really liked it. I had, like, some little QSC hardware sequencer, and we started using, rhythm drums and stuff to kind of juice things up. That was fun.
Huh.
And we went on to do that a lot more afterwards.
Oh, you did? I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because you couldn't have a whole big, huge band.
Yeah, I mean, money was tight, and, it was hard to find a lot of guys that wanted to play. In fact, for a number of years, John Skendel, who's still the drummer that we're going to have this year, he plays with the Jays band. They're all over the place. Yeah. He's going to be with us. He was the original McMillan and Life drummer. Him and I did about 5 years straight as a duo, and I was playing the keyboard. He was playing electronic drums, and we had some backing tracks and stuff. So
John has a great voice. Yeah,
he does. And we played the Iroquois Club at Conneaut Lake. That was one of our favorite gigs.
All right.
We played there all the time.
Is he from down there too?
He lives in Meadville. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
A couple miles apart. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Jays play everywhere, all over around here.
Do.
So
they do.
I had Dave Dennison on the podcast actually. Right. He may be the oldest guy that's ever been on the podcast.
Yeah, I think he's 83 or something.
And he plays more than you and I combined,
John was just at my house last week, and we looked at their schedule. They had 13 gigs in the month of September, John. God bless you, brother.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so you continue to play, like you said, throughout. Yeah. I always say this podcast ends in 1990, but of course you don't stop playing. Right. Like I said, through the 90s, I see random things, one of which you kind of get into plays, or at least one play, Pump Boys and Dinettes.
Pump Boys and Dinettes. That was the one and
only.
One
and only?
Right.
Okay, because musical, how was that for you?
It was challenging because I had never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be fun, and I think after all the rehearsing and stuff, we did like 4 shows of the show.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I don't know if you've ever heard Pump Boys and Dinettes.
Yeah.
But I played the role of LM, which was the piano player.
Okay, all right.
And, we had to use Southern accents and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun.
Where was it? Where did you perform
It was performed at the Academy Theater in Meadville.
Oh, okay.
Right,
all
so
right.
it was a local production.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I'd like to say, for me, it was more rehearsal than I had ever been a part of before, learning the lines and... there was some acting. I even had to do a tap dance and play the accordion and stuff. So I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, I know the guys and the gal in Tennessee Back Porch in Erie, they did a version of Pump Boys and Dinettes for years. And and it was a big deal, and both performing it and, for the community, so that's great.
Yeah.
Don't want to get back into that?
Probably not at this age. I don't think they need any 70-year-old actors out there.
Well, you never know, no. And so even from 78 on, so what changes? I mean, it doesn't sound like you guys had a bad breakup. It was, we're growing up, we're growing apart, we're getting jobs, we're probably starting families.
Absolutely, no.
All those things.
I mean, to this day, we're all still brothers,
that's
why we're coming back together for this show. Everybody still loves each other and trusts each other and do anything for each other. So it's a bittersweet thing that we did break up, but like I say, everybody was getting married and going separate directions and moving away and stuff like that. So it'll be really a fun show, I think, on the 18th.
So on the 18th is when you all get together, but. Have those guys or any of them been playing regularly wherever they live?
Yes.
So it's not like these guys are coming out of retirement after not having played for 30 years.
I mean, you already mentioned John Carroll's name. He plays regularly with the Fabulous Leftovers. He's also playing with the Blues Beaters.
Right.
And now he's going to play with us again. And he's done many, many gigs over the years. Him and Steve Kuhn, who's also in our band again. Those guys have done duos and things like that, so they're always busy, and they're still fabulous players. Let's see, who else? Like I say, Dale, our trombone player who passed away in 2008, he hadn't been playing, and like I say, he's sorely missed right now. We really miss him bad. Ernie, the guy who was in the Letterman, he was in Spectrum.
Yeah.
And then when we went to McMillan Life, he wasn't with us. He went off on his own. In fact, he ended up... Ernie Pontier went to California. He was waiting on tables, and the next thing you know, he got a call to play trombone in Wayne Newton's backup big band. So he's in either Vegas or Reno. He's playing in Wayne Newton's big band. The next thing you know, the manager of Wayne Newton's band said, hey, I got Tony Butella on the phone. He's looking for a singer. So the next thing you know, he says he wants you to come out to somewhere, and he flew out to somewhere and he auditioned. Lo and behold, he got the job.
With the Letterman?
With the Letterman,
Holy crap.
So he's singing high tenor with the Letterman for 3 years.
Wow.
Then he came back to Pittsburgh after that gig. He said it was great, good gig, a lot of fun, but he said it was so intense. I mean, they were playing like 250 shows a year.
Oh, I bet.
So
I
it was
bet.
just, I think he just got burned out. And I mean, he was getting up there in years as far as that kind of thing. I think he was almost 40. He comes back to Pittsburgh, gets his first teaching job. He starts teaching music. I'm not sure what school it was. It might have been North Allegheny.
Like a high school.
Yeah, he was teaching choir and things like that. So
cool.
He was there until we just got this thing back together this year. In fact, he's been retired for a few years. His younger brother, Rusty, who also was a music teacher and also a fellow Edinburghite. Now, he's 5 years younger than us, but we call him part of the family because he went to Edinburgh, too. He's going to be with us on second trumpet for this show in November, too. So, and he can sing.
How many guys are going to be in this?
9 guys.
9.
Right.
Whoa.
So we upped the ante from 7 to 9.
All right.
Just to give us a little extra kick, you know.
So, this night is going to be full of big bands because we've got Ruby Port, we've got Wave, we've got you guys.
Right. All 3 of those bands have 10 people.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
right,
Yeah. So I knew it was going to be a lot of big bands playing.
Yes.
That's awesome. Will you guys you're all rehearsing on your own and then you'll come together, or is there some plan to run through the whole show?
We've had 4 rehearsals with all 9 guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and we're doing Star Wars again. We're doing the theme from Rocky, which features Roy Helm, our great trumpet player. I mean, he's like Maynard Ferguson.
Yeah.
He really is. He can really scream on the trumpet. And
so it sounds like all these guys stayed in music in some way, shape, or form. I mean,
and the ones that haven't been playing regularly have come up to speed very quickly. It's been great. Yeah,
that's great. Wow, well, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. And so, what else? I mean, since then you retire from the phone company.
Yes.
You have a musical son, at least, who you are going to play with, or
He's
are playing
with.
He's
already. Yeah. I'm working with Joe Frasina.
That's right.
Who's a great guitar player and a good buddy of mine. We play. Right now we're playing every other Thursday night at Fat Eddie's, which is a restaurant, a barbecue place in Meadville.
Okay.
On Route 19. And
jazz?
No, more pop music.
Okay.
I'm playing keys, Joe's playing guitar, and we've been doing this now. I think this is our 3rd summer we've been down there.
Oh, okay.
And Andrew, my son, just jumped in with this year on the bass. Actually, he started with us probably New Year's Eve of last year. He started to play with us, and he'll be back with us again next Thursday night. And again, Joe and I have jumped in with other people. We've had different sax players come in and play with us. George Barber played with us last Thursday night down there. So we enjoy jamming.
Still got your hand in it.
Oh, yeah. Right.
That's great.
I often say this, if I didn't play music, I don't know what else I'd do with my life.
Sure.
I might just go walk off a cliff because, that's all we do. And it's all we think about. John Carroll was down at my house this morning from 10 to 1. We were working on arrangements and rewriting some of the charts that we're going to use on the show on November 18th. And,
that's fun. Now you have the time.
Oh, yeah.
So.
It is. It's great to have the time. Yeah,
well, that's great. Well, I'm so glad we finally got together.
Me too.
You've been mentioned on the podcast numerous times. So, Dave McMillan, I appreciate you sharing your stories with us today,
Absolutely.
and we'll look forward to seeing you on the 19th.
19th? 18th.
18th. Don't go on the 19th. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Chip.
All right. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of the Erie Music History Podcast. I want to say thanks to the JPT Foundation. They have been a financial supporter of the podcast since the beginning, and they also give us a free space to have our monthly music night on the first Tuesday of the month. It always features our great house band, the Fabulous Leftovers, as well as a lot of other local bands and musicians. Sometimes it's a basic open mic after that, but it's a lot of fun. First Tuesday of the month, totally free. Any donations go to the Second Harvest Food Bank. It is BYOB. You can bring in alcohol, drinks, whatever you'd like. There's a great pizza shop next door, Pasalinquas. There's a Subway in the plaza, so check that out the first Tuesday of the month. Aside from the JPT Foundation, I want to thank Angelo Phillips, who has been a financial supporter of the podcast for the past couple months. Angelo is a great local musician who I will be happy to play with. Next year, we're going to play a few gigs together, so looking forward to that. Also, make sure that you check out Jack Stevenson's Two-Man Happy Hour podcast. Basically tells you where people are playing today, where and when, and you can check that out at the number 2manhappyhour.com. Check that out. He also does a weekly podcast with our sound man for the monthly music night, Brian Waller, as well as Nat the Hat. So the three of them do a great podcast where they interview local musicians, and they again talk about who is playing where. But more importantly, they play a lot of local music on that. So check that out. That's Music Chat with Nat the Hat, and you can find that on Facebook anywhere. All right, that's all I got for you. Thanks again for listening.